Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Bertrand, and welcome to another episode of PowerEdge Soundbytes. Today, I'm joined with Kendall, and we are going to talk about a technology that is included in PowerEdge that is very interesting for anybody looking to implement infrastructure as code, anybody looking to enhance their orchestration and automation for their server provisioning and server management. And that technology is Redfish. So, Kendall, what's Redfish?
Hi, Bertrand. So if you Google Redfish, you'll find a lot of websites about catching a particular species found along the U.S. Atlantic and Gulf Coast, or possibly a link to purchase a popular Dr. Seuss children's book. The Redfish we're talking about today, however, is a universal hardware management and automation standard created by the DMTF, previously known as the Distributed Management Task Force. DMTF is a consortium of industry leaders such as Dell, Cisco, HPE, Intel, and others who have come together to establish many widely adopted vendor-agnostic standards over the years. Redfish is one such standard that came about in 2015 as an eventual replacement for IPMI, or Intelligent Platform Management Interface.
So what does it bring on top of IPMI? Obviously, IPMI has been around for quite some time. So why did we need Redfish?
Well, that's a great question, Bertrand. IPMI, as you stated, has been around for many years, and while it is technically a universal standard, every vendor still has their own implementation. Like IPMI, Redfish operates on the BMC, or Baseboard Management Controller, also known as the iDRAC on PowerEdge systems. Redfish has a lot of benefits, which we'll get into, but ultimately the fact that IPMI promoters have announced that there will be no further revisions makes it clear that Redfish is the direction the industry is moving. Redfish also supports OpenAPI and REST API, which has seen explosive adoption in recent years. The ability to use common web code and protocols and the simplicity of human-readable JSON and OData files make Redfish an excellent option.
Cool. I know that one of the issues that I've always been talked about with IPMI is the security issue with of IPMI. And we all know that BMC is important. So having a technology that allows us to do similar things as a IPMI, but that is more secure, I think is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. The IPMI has its own port, and the BMC is such a critical part of the infrastructure. It really is kind of the keys to the hardware kingdom, so to speak. And finding all the BMC IP addresses on a network could be as simple as sniffing out that port. While some issues like password storage and transmission have been addressed, they were initially in clear text. In later releases, HTTPS is still a much more mature and better secured option.
For sure. And obviously, Redfish brings a ton of simplicity into the world of server management. So why don't we dive a little bit deeper into how it achieves that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Redfish can leverage the aforementioned JSON files for input and output. JSON is short for JavaScript Object Notation, but it's commonly used as a ubiquitous format for many different applications. At its core, it's a top-down data serialization format based on key and value pairs, such as first name and Bob, age 29, etc. This makes the format extremely intuitive for a person to read or modify, and still very easy for machines to parse with any programming languages. It's similar in concept to XML, but the syntax is far simpler and it's far more natural to read. OData is another similarly simple format used in conjunction with REST API calls, which allows standard HTTP operations such as get, put, and post.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, everybody knows JSON. So obviously that simplicity and leveraging something that everybody knows will definitely help with driving the adoption of Redfish. So what we've established so far is that Redfish is simple and it's secure, but what can we do with it?
Well, pretty much everything you can do with IPMI and then some. There are typical IPMI functions such as getting the status of server health, reading temperature sensors and fans, inventory of CPUs, memory, disks, other hardware, as well as performing actions such as rebooting a hung server, changing BIOS settings, setting thresholds for power consumption, and even accessing alerts and event logs. One of the powerful features of Redfish is that it maintains all of these standard functions in universal collections for systems, chassis, and managers, while still allowing some customization. So rather than alter the core functions for any vendor-specific features, such as IPMI might do, Redfish has a separate OEM space to allow the implementation of additional features without touching the core collections. So this is a huge deal in large multi-vendor server environments because the core functions are guaranteed to work across every supported server in the environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And having that common platform or having that common API for all servers, as you said, makes it super simple in multi-server environment. But having that OEM space truly allows customization and allows customers to get effectively more information out of their server. How do we get started with Redfish?
Well, we'll make that easy for you today. I got a link in the video description that'll take you to the Dell support site, which offers links to a lot of different resources, including dmtf.org, which will give examples, training classes, other training videos, more in-depth information, and even mock-ups of various server types so that you can explore everything that Redfish has to offer.
That's awesome. And I think it's worth mentioning that Dell is one of the founding members of dmtf.org because it realized some of the limitation of IPMI and the need for something more simpler, something simpler and more secure. So, well, thanks a lot, Kendall, for giving us that overview of Redfish today. I think we are going to have another PowerEdge Soundbite in the future, covering Redfish in a little bit more in depth. So thank you very much for joining today. Please subscribe to our channel to get notified to any new PowerEdge Soundbite. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Have a good one.